That's a beautiful game of football there. The NPFL between Nasarawa United and Lobi Stars, where Lobi lost once more. Welcoming you to the show Sports Updates. My name is Joseph Peter, and today we're going to look at various stories, just like we always do, all around the world. But we start locally first, just to encourage our own and make sure that we put them in the limelight. Now we're going to take our first story, which talks about the sanction that will go to coaches that refuse to take the post-match conference and pre-match conferences that's before and after the games. The story says NPFL to sanction coaches for boycotting post-match interviews. Specifically, it has been mentioned here that it's all about post-match interviews. Although we have the pre-match and we have the post-match interview. The post-match interview is the match that is the interview that happens immediately after the game, where coaches are asked questions by the media, so as they get to explain what happened, what transpired in the game. However, in the Nigerian league, we have a habit of coaches boycotting these interviews just for maybe the sake of anger, or maybe they are not happy with the result, and that's not seen by the NFF as a sportsman behavior. However, they have found solutions. They are trying to find solutions to these kinds of events. That's why they are suggesting that coaches who boycott all these kinds of post-match interviews from henceforth will be punished. They will be fined, and they would have to pay their fine just to stop and reduce this act of unsportsmanlike behaviors. Now, moving away from that story, we'll go to we'll take the story coming from Egypt, where the former coach of the Super Eagles, Jose Peseiro, who took over Zamalek for 2 years, has been sacked. Jose Peseiro, who lost a match who drew against National Bank in the last game they played, where they played 2-2, has just lost his game. Zamalek sacks ex-Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro. Since he joined, the Zamalek have not really been doing good. After playing 17 matches, they won 8 and drew 7 of those and lost 2, which is not a result that is welcomed by the management of Zamalek, saying that they are chasing the league and they are 7 points behind surprise leaders Pyramids as it stands. Therefore, that decision had to come up because Zamalek is seen as one of those biggest teams in Egypt. They are considered to be the direct rival of Al Ahly of Egypt, but with the way things are going, it doesn't look like they are up for that rivalry or for the targets that is set for them. Therefore, that's the Zamalek management decided to end Jose Peseiro's contract. And moving away from that story, we also take the story that's about Europa League, and we know that we had Champions League day before yesterday and yesterday, and today is the turn of the Europa League and the Conference League. But we'll go with the Europa League first, and we'll talk about the semi-final second leg fixtures for both Manchester United, who are winning already on the aggregate of 3-0. They went to Spain and played Athletic Club and was able to get a result there, a resounding result they got there, and that result has put them in a pole position for the final if they are able to finish the job today. And also, Tottenham are winning with the aggregate of 3-1 against Bodo Glimt. They were able to defeat Bodo Glimt 3-1 at England in the Tottenham Stadium. Therefore, that also places them in an advantage going into the game of the second leg that's to be held tonight. Now, looking at these fixtures, maybe we should go and see the highlights of the previous game and have a feel of how it was when it was played in both Old Trafford and the Tottenham Stadium. Be right back. Beautiful game of football there, between Manchester United and Athletic, and it was, expected that Athletic would be very, very difficult for Man United to face and defeat, but they clearly outclassed Athletic and took the 3 points, and not just take 3 points. They scored 3 goals, 3 unreplied goals against Athletic. Although you could argue that the game was filled with a lot of controversies, with the red card that was given to Vivian after he pulled back. He seemed to pull back Højlund there trying to score a goal, and that made the referee to give him a straight red card and make Athletic Club short, one man short. And it's not easy to face up Man United as they are at 11 men. Talk more when you are one man down. That Manchester United on his back, winning goals, winning matches for them, scoring goals, providing assists. He hasn't stopped yet. He's still doing it in the Man United jersey. He's considered the most important player as it is right now. And even Mazraoui almost got a goal, although a lot of Man United fans would have wanted their team to score more goals, seeing that they got their opponents red carded earlier in the match, but at the end they got the win. They got the Europa Cup and maybe win it, because that's where Man United are putting all their eggs this time around. They are not doing so well in the Premier League. They've not done so well in other competitions, but in the Europa Cup, despite the problems, despite all the difficulties that Manchester United has been going through as a club, they've been able to manage and put themselves in a position of qualifying to the finals and even winning the finals of UEFA Cup. Kudos to Amorim for that one. Now, moving away from the Man United game, we talk about also the Tottenham games. We had goal scorers like Maddison, Solanke, and Brendan Rodgers, making sure that their coach Postecoglou, who said he always wins a trophy in every second season in a club, is also about to make that happen with Tottenham. Can they finish their opponents this night and qualify to the final and maybe face Manchester United and make it an all-English affair? We are waiting to see that as they take on Bodo Glimt this very night. Now, moving away from this story, we go straight into Conference League, where Chelsea has been dominating the Champions League, and they have been the topic of not the Champions League, the Conference League, and they have been the topic of the Conference League so far. They've won all their matches in the Conference League but for one, and they've done very, very well. They went to Djurgården and got a result also, 4-1 away from home. That's a big win by Chelsea there, with Jadon Sancho and a couple of other players scoring goals against Djurgården. Now they take on Djurgården at the Stamford Bridge, and of course the whole world is expecting, watching, hoping that Chelsea gets to finish the job. I'm just hoping Manchester United fans watch that goal by Anthony. That goal was a superlative goal coming from Anthony. He seems to be a different footballer from the version that we know at Manchester United, and he's doing it good for Real Betis as they won at home 2-1 against Fiorentina. Those two are considered to be the maybe most. The Chelsea are expected to face a bit of competition when they meet these two clubs. Of course, Real Betis doing it very, very good, keeping their momentum not just in the league trying to qualify to Europe, but also in the Conference League, trying to make sure that they get to win something in Europe, having lucky to have obtained the services of Anthony from Manchester United, and having turned his form around, he has been helping them, making sure that they win game. And of course, we cannot talk about Real Betis without mentioning Isco, who is their captain and has been a captain fantastic to this particular Real Betis side. Now, also the other match in the Conference League, which is the match between Chelsea and Djurgården. Chelsea
stood up far post cross just before the interval.
That's a good one from Chelsea, and kudos to Enzo Maresca for having gone this far, even though a lot of football fans felt or feels it's easy for him. It has been easy for him, but a win is still a win, and a trophy is still a trophy. So moving away from that, we go to the transfer. Now we look at transfer news, and we'll start with Crystal Palace. And we have Crystal Palace trying to cut the Super Eagles left right back. I beg your pardon, the Super Eagles right back, and winger also, wing back also. We have Crystal Palace close to a 4.5 million deal for Osai Samuel, who plied his trade with Fenerbahce, has been there for a number of years now and has done quite well, which has caught the eyes of English clubs, and one of them, which is Crystal Palace, is said to have offered him a 4.5 million deal, directly to him, because Osai Samuel's contract is about to expire this summer, and he becomes a free agent, which means that he gets to take his sign-on fee, and a 4.5 million deal has been offered to him, as we said, by Crystal Palace, and hopefully he gets to make the move and gets to shine and come to a better limelight where he would be seen by the whole world, and maybe that would push him forward to get better and represent the Super Eagles even more and play better for the Super Eagles. We wish Osai Samuel the very, very best. Now into another transfer news. We'll talk of Napoli. Napoli's hierarchy is in contact with Massimiliano Allegri in case Conte decides to leave the club. This is De Laurentiis now, the chairman of Napoli, trying to make sure that he has a plan B ready in case Antonio Conte decides to leave the club after maybe they have won the league, because as it stands, they are leading the pack with 4 points difference, and it is all in their hands to win. If they lose it, it will be completely and absolutely their fault, but it doesn't look like they're about to lose it, because they've been winning matches, and Lukaku has been playing well. The whole team has been doing well under Conte, and hopefully maybe they get to finish winning and win the Serie A. Now, moving away from that story, we also talk of Arsenal and Man United and Chelsea are in for the striker that plied his trade at Germany. His name is Patrick Schick. Patrick Schick plays for Bayer Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. The striker is a very, very good striker. Has scored a lot of goals for Bayer Leverkusen. Was very much integral to the side that won the league, the Bundesliga, last year, and that has made him to come to the limelight. And a lot of fans from England, Arsenal, have been courting this player right from last season into this season, and now we have also Chelsea and Man United lining up for the striker. And moving away from that story, we go to the story of another transfer story, where Man United, are keeping tabs on the forward Moiskin. Moiskin plays for Fiorentina after, transferring from Juventus, where he was not really, favored by the coach Asaden, but having moved to Fiorentina, he has been doing well. Manchester United keep tabs on Fiorentina forward Moiskin. He has been doing well, has scored a couple of goals in the Serie A, and has been a threat to a lot of players, to a lot of teams, and that's why now Manchester United are looking at the possibility of hiring him. Maybe he could be the one to replace Højlund, or maybe play before Højlund gets to start, because right now the Manchester United hierarchy and the fans are not exactly happy with Højlund. Now, I beg your pardon, this brings us to the end of the show. If you enjoyed this, join me tomorrow as we talk sport again. My name is Joseph Peter. Goodbye.